Tell me, do you read? You will. The book nerds are coming! The book nerds are coming! I'm sorry, I'm just really excited about that movie.
Welcome to episode 5 of Two Book Nerds and a Microphone. I'm Hank.
And I'm Ian.
And
I'm the cool one.
You hear this, crickets? Two Book Nerds, uncensored, uncut, unedited.
I mean, there's probably, like, you gotta put the filler music in here, so you're gonna edit that in. You know.
Well, yeah, but that's...
You guys get the idea.
Yeah, never mind. So, we've been off for
like 2 weeks.
like 2 weeks.
Sorry!
Yeah, it was,
college is not great.
Yeah, and there was a holiday in there, and
I was happy and thankful and stuff.
And we had, like, 2 family, funerals, and, like, within a 2-week period, too.
That was a bit of a letdown.
Yeah, so,
sorry.
Stuff happens, but we're back. And we're here.
Yeah.
And it's almost the end of the year.
When did that happen?
I know, today we're recording this on December 1st.
Yep.
Excuse me.
And it feels like early October because temperature and the way it looks outside, and I'm like, okay. Alright.
Yeah, it decided to rain today, and
we don't get snow down here.
No,
That's
very
like
rarely.
Once every 6 years or something like that.
Yeah, it yesterday the last probably 5 days have been in the 80s.
Yeah, I went to school in shorts yesterday.
Yeah,
and a t-shirt.
Today's wet, and I wouldn't say it's cold, but it
sucks.
It's damp and chilly. Yeah, so...
Yeah.
Anyway, that's our weather report for today, because
we now have a meteorology segment. No.
Because you tune in to hear what the weather's like in the dirty South, apparently. But anyway, so the end of the year's coming.
Yep.
And I got to thinking the other day about...
That's a dangerous thing for you.
It is a dangerous thing. And usually, sometimes fire trucks come from the smell. But, so I got to thinking about all the books I've read this year. And last year I tried to do a blog post, or maybe it was 2 years ago, I don't know. Anyway, about all the books that I had read for the year. And when I actually sat down and compiled the list, it was a rather extensive list. And I didn't really realize all of the great books that I had read, because, you find a book that you love, and you read it, and you absorb it, and they all kind of become this little piece of you.
Right.
And
that's so cute.
It's so cute. And
are
you
sweet.
Feeling the warm fuzzies right now?
Right in the feels.
Right in the feels.
Right in
Every
the
one of the
feels.
feels. Hey, Ian.
Yes.
Did you listen to the Author Stories podcast last week?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
Yeah. So, I was dropping hints a couple weeks ago on Two Book Nerds about interviewing Patrick freaking Rothfuss.
Patrick Rothfuss! Yeah.
Yeah, that was your eardrums that just burst because of Ian. Yeah.
We can just add that.
Send your hate mail to Ian. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can just comment on this post, and he'll read it.
If you were in my situation, don't act like you would have done the same thing.
Yeah. So anyway, that was kind of cool. And
it's just, Patrick... It's Patrick Rothfuss.
Yeah.
Patrick Rothfuss. I'm going to call him Pat now. Because, you have his phone number. Hey, Pat, how's it going?
Uncle Pat. I was... Patrick didn't have a new book out this year. Well, actually, he did. He had that...
that one?
The one that, about Aurochs.
Mm-hmm.
Aurochs.
But it's not the third
Slow
part.
Regard of Silent Things. I totally butchered that when he was on Author Stories. Yeah, so that was a fascinating book.
Mm-hmm.
And if you were not a fan of the other two full-size books, you probably were a little lost. But he also had a story out in George Martin's anthology, the Rogues anthology.
Oh.
Did you read that one?
I
The
didn't.
Bass story?
No, and I have it on the laptop. But again, college, so when finals are over next week, yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Well, rumor has it that you are lobbying Lionsgate Entertainment to play Bass in the
I am.
film adaptation.
Right now. So hard.
So you need to read that story. It's a great look into a day in the life of Bast and all of his roguishness.
By January 1st, I'm going to have it memorized, so,
By the way, I'm silencing my phone now because
Good for you.
I have this habit of not silencing my phone when we record these, but I just did.
Good
So,
job.
there's that.
I didn't have to fuss at you this time.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
That's me coughing now. Sorry.
So, you had something you wanted to talk about, but before we get to that, these next few episodes, I think we ought to mention some of the books we've read this year, what things excited us, and so the Rogues anthology was excellent. I am currently reading The Black Prism by Brent Weeks.
Is that the one with the science and sci-fi and the magic and stuff? That's pretty much every book
I
out
think
there.
you just described everything on my Kindle. It's
Where colors have magic powers.
Yeah, colors.
Because prisms and black isn't a color, so it's antithesis.
You cast magic by pulling energy from colors, and that's a horrible explanation, but
it's like the Green Lantern Corps.
Really, I was thinking that the other day. I was like that,
like DC.
because there are certain energies around different colors, and yeah, it's got a very.
Please tell me green was envy.
No.
Dadgummit.
Yeah, that's a little on the nose, don't you
I
think?
never understood why the Green Lanterns are willpower, but orange is envy. I'm gonna shut up now.
I think the original writer was colorblind. I don't know.
All right.
I can make that joke because I am colorblind.
Of course you can.
Yeah. So, anyway, so what about you? What have you read or are reading? I also started reading Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson, which I'm really enjoying.
Yeah.
But I have this horrible habit of starting like 10 books at a time.
It's kind of my problem.
And I read a little here and a little there, and I kind of make this circle. And I think it has to do with not wanting books to end.
Probably.
So you just kind of draw them out as long as you can. Started reading the Walt Longmire mysteries also. Mm-hmm. Cold Dish, the first one.
Yeah.
Really, really good.
Like, because revenge is a dish that's called... Oh, wow. Look at me go. I am so good at this.
College.
Yeah! I don't know. I kind of feel like I should tell you all next week. Kind of how in the first episode you had to make everyone wait a week.
No, you can't do that.
Yeah, I can do that.
No, you can't because...
Yeah, I can.
No, you can't because we're going to do this over 4 weeks in
Which
December.
is exactly why I'm going to do it.
No.
Next week.
No, I'm not letting you off with that.
You suck, you know that.
Yep. I do.
Steelheart was great by Brandon Sanderson.
Yeah, but you read that like 5 years ago.
No, I've read it earlier this year.
Are you sure?
No. Not actually, no. I don't remember. Maybe 2 years ago. Did I mention I like Harry Dresden? Because I'm kind of losing my crap over Harry Dresden right now.
I don't think you've ever mentioned your love of Harry Dresden.
Not once.
Never.
Not even once.
Not even once. I don't think you have ever mentioned that.
I'm just saying I already have my Halloween costume picked out for next year. It's gonna be so simple.
What's the
I need a stick.
That's
it.
No, what's the skull that lives on the shelf?
Bob.
Bob. You're gonna be Bob, aren't you?
I'm gonna be Bob. What was this about a party at University of Chicago that lasted for 4? I don't know anything about that, Harry.
Don't know anything.
I don't know what you're talking about. Remember what happened last time I let you free? I don't remember that.
I don't remember anything.
I don't know. What you talking about? You're seeing stuff.
Yeah. I started Noah, your little brother, reading The Wheel of Time today.
Oh boy, this is gonna be fun.
It's gonna be fun. He either will fall down the rabbit hole, completely love it, and then be really mad at the middle of that series where it kind of all falls apart, and then Brandon Sanderson comes in and pulls it all back together at the end. I know there are some diehard Wheel of Time fans, and they'll probably get mad that I said that, but just be honest with yourself. It kind of goes a little astray.
It happens.
It happens, when you write 47 books in a series, it happens.
I mean,
yeah,
it must be nice to be able to do that. Have a story that big to do that, but
I mean, that's... So anyway, we'll see what the 11-year-old has to say about Wheel of Time.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of Wheel of Fortune, but not. I'm sorry, that was bad. I'm gonna not do that again. I thought you were turning your phone off.
I did turn it off, but it was. I silenced it,
okay.
But it still buzzed.
Okay.
So get over it. Yeah. So have you read anything else this year that you liked?
Let's see. Stefan Bolt's White Dragon was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really was.
I'm kind of digging it. Why did you have to kill the dolphins? I don't know, but okay.
Because he's German, maybe.
What does that have to do with anything?
It's just a fun joke to make. I don't know that it has anything to do with anything, but he's the only German I know.
This is fair.
So
this is true.
If I'm ever going to make a joke about Germans, he's the one. And he's a super nice guy, and we had pizza with him like a month ago.
This is true.
Yeah.
He's also really tall.
He's
not really tall. He's just tall.
He's not really tall, but compared to our family, he's really tall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we're all short.
Yeah, you can't tell that from podcast
because we're sitting here.
We're all really short.
I'm actually taller than you, and that's not saying much because
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hey.
Okay, I decided you were coming in stupid. That was for Preston. Preston will get that.
Speaking of which, he asked me what he should read Neil Gaiman-wise.
He asked me the same thing.
So I told him to start... What did I tell him to start with?
Coraline?
I think it was Coraline and then Ocean at the End of the Lane.
See, I told him opposite. I said start with Ocean.
Right. And then I told him go for American Gods last because, how did I say it? It was like drinking 6 fireball shots after fighting Ronda Rousey and getting shot in the knee by Clint Eastwood. That's what reading that book is like. And I stick to that.
Talk about all the feels.
It's like...
But they're different feels.
It's like feels I didn't know were there. And I don't want to be associated with some of those feels. Alright. Anyway, that's what that book's like. So, there you go, Preston. I hope you enjoy that advice. And I hope it aids you in your journey into Gaiman land. So...
Speaking of that, have you seen any of these, the new Sandman books coming out?
Yeah.
Sandman Overture?
Mm-hmm. Been seeing promos for it and everything, and I'm like, alright.
I've just started reading the first one.
It's a project with that guy in it.
The guy?
Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Is that going to get off the ground at all? I thought he was supposed to play Sandman or direct it or something.
I don't know.
There was a big hype about it a few years ago, and then I haven't heard anything from it, so I don't know. I kind of want to see it. Just saying.
I'm consulting the Google.
So, just the part where I tell a joke. I don't really, have one prepared at the moment. So, why did Adele cross the road?
To say hello from the other side?
Shut up.
So a cursory glance at the Google looks like it is still on.
Okay.
And if something has happened between when this article and now, we're going to act like we don't know that because we want to see that movie.
Right.
So.
Okay.
This is not where you come for accurate, up-to-date information. This is where you come...
This is where a couple of guys sit at the computer and say, hey, I wonder what this is going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. So, do you want to tell them about your face exercises you were doing right before we started recording?
I think those are the ones that you were doing.
What, lion face? Lemon face?
Yeah, because I can totally see that.
Yeah. So, you know, just things...
assume he's acting like an
This
idiot.
is how... See, this is... Most people love sausage. They just don't want to see how it's made.
That's deep.
That is deep.
That is so
and
profound.
There are things that you love about podcasts, but you don't want to know what happens to make it happen.
Please, no. Be sure to tell people that we're not crazy.
Since when? Okay, so you have something you want to talk about,
Yeah.
but before we do, because we've dropped several references to it being the end of the year,
Yes.
and December,
It's the most wonderful time of the year, in my
it
opinion.
is the most wonderful time of the year. It is because we watched the Holy Trilogy over the weekend.
We did.
Yeah, Elf, Fred Claus, and Christmas Vacation.
I didn't actually see that one. I must have been at work.
What?
Christmas Vacation.
Uh,
It's probably one of the 12-hour shifts I was working.
Thanksgiving Eve, we watched it.
Yeah, when I was at work.
Yeah,
You watched it without me.
yeah.
Yeah. I want
I
to
did.
emphasize that he watched Christmas Vacation without me. I want you all to grasp that, let that sink in.
I watched it for the first time this year without you.
Touche.
Yeah, I mean it's literally December 1st right now.
That's valid. That's fair.
There, we have 30 more days to watch Christmas Vacation.
But after the 25th, there will be no point in it because Christmas would be over.
It doesn't matter. I will watch that movie in June.
I think you have before.
I have. Your argument is invalid.
This is fair. All right.
Cousin Eddie in that robe. It's. I'm sorry. It's just
This is a real nice surprise.
Yeah.
A real nice surprise.
Get yourself something real nice too, Clark.
I hope you sure didn't do this on our account. Don't you be falling in love with that RV neither. We're taking it with us when we leave next month.
There's an RV. Yep. Old snot. Got a little Mississippi leg hound in him.
Falling, well, eyes go uncrossed. I don't know.
Get kicked in the head by a mule. Yeah.
We haven't watched this at all before.
Ever.
I haven't grown up watching this movie at all.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think like episode 6, we just need to quote that movie verbatim. Yeah.
Out of order.
Out of order. Just go with it.
Just go.
Like,
with
we
it.
know all the lines. We just don't remember which order they go in. So we're going to go through them all, and you're just going to piece it together yourself.
That's right. That's right.
You're all welcome.
And if you drink enough eggnog, maybe it'll arrange itself for
Maybe,
you.
It won't matter. Just don't put the turkey in the oven too early,
It's a little dry.
Well, it's, all right.
Jerky. Turkey jerky.
Where's the Tylenol?
So anyway, it's December.
Yeah.
We have a tendency to rabbit trail.
Right.
It's December, meaning it's Christmas.
Yes.
And did you know that you can go to hankgarner.com
Here we go.
where you find this show,
Right.
and in the right-hand sidebar, there's an Amazon link.
Exactly.
And if you click that Amazon link, it takes you to Amazon.
Well, that's
Just,
what I should
just
hope it
regular old Amazon. And then you can shop. You can buy all of your Christmas presents there, and we get a tiny, tiny commission that helps us to
I bought
make.
a sandwich with mine.
Did you?
Yes. I work at a fast food restaurant. What do you expect?
Yes.
They bought me lunch that day.
I was going to appeal to people to help, go in the Garner Children College Fund because there's 5 of y'all, and you have to say you bought a chicken sandwich with it. That's cool too. Just saying.
I mean, I have more. I'm just saying.
Your purchases have fed this child of mine.
Look, I work 12 hours a day. I need a sandwich, okay?
It happens. So, yeah. So, buy your Christmas presents and buy them at Amazon.
And buy me a sandwich in the process.
And get to Amazon by going to HankGarner.com. See, it's a win-win-win-win-win.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all. See? That's all. We're not even going to talk about it anymore. That's it. But, you said that, you pitched an idea that there's a series of books that you dearly love.
Yes.
And so do I. And we've mentioned it before, and I've mentioned it all over the place because
it's perfect.
It's kind of perfect, and I love it, and it's just the way it is. And did you know that the series of books can be bought on Amazon.com? They can.
Through our link.
Through our link. But like I said, that's all I'm going to say about it.
Right.
So, yeah, what do you want to talk about?
Okay, I can go now?
I mean, I guess.
Are you sure this time? Are you sure?
I'm not stopping you.
Alright. So, there's a series of books called the Song of Albion Trilogy by Stephen Lawhead.
Song of what?
Albion.
Albion?
Yeah.
Albion? Never mind. That was going to be a joke, but it didn't take off. Never mind.
About that. Where was I going with this? Okay, it's like the perfect series.
Yeah.
Ever, okay?
Yeah.
So take this guy from like the Midwestern United States. Okay.
Just some guy.
Just some guy. You know, it could be like his name is Joe or Bob. In this case his name is Lewis because
or Joe Bob if he's from Alabama.
Or Bob Joe. Whoa.
Bobby Joe.
Bobby Joe. Anyway, Bobby Joe. This guy's name is Lewis, right? And you send him to college in Oxford, England, right? And you give him a snobby rich British friend.
Snobby.
Like how like I'm not sure who I would cast in my head as this guy. Probably like Prince Charming from Shrek. Just you know. Yeah.
You know he's not real.
Yeah, but the character just let me just have this, okay?
You just want to see him flip that hair back and forth.
Basically, I kind of do.
He whips his hair back and forth.
I whip my hair back. Okay, sorry.
You're gonna make us pay for that.
I'm sorry. So, you have this thing where this ancient beast magically appears in a cornfield in Scotland. I don't know if they actually grow corn in Scotland. I'm just pulling that out of my hat because America. And
it all began with the Aurochs.
It all started with the Aurochs.
Whatever.
Well, this Aurochs being an ancient, really, really big ox cow thing that's supposed to have been extinct for like a few thousand years magically appears. So you take Lewis and his snobby British friend Simon, and they go investigate this thing because they're in college and they probably have finals to study for. So of course we're gonna go check out this ancient dead cow.
Like you do.
Because priorities.
Right.
That's what I would do. It's probably what I should be doing.
And you would drive from Oxford to Scotland.
Drive.
To do this.
Yes. You'd spend gas money to do this. Well, you get there, and all of a sudden your snobby British guy finds this big burial mound where the Aurochs came out of. And he walks around it a few times, and there's this door that opens, and he goes inside the burial mound, and Simon's not here anymore. Simon went bye-bye. And you don't know what to do. So, you're like, alright, I'm just going to sit here a minute, and Simon's going to come out. And you sit there for about 30 minutes, and Simon doesn't come back. And you sit there for about an hour, and Simon doesn't come back. And you see this creepy guy in the yellow coat with like 2 or 3 white dogs. And he's just staring you down, and you're like, whoa, this is kind of freaky, man. Kind of freaking me out. And he just walks away. He doesn't say anything. And so you're sitting at the burial mound. It's been 2 hours, and Simon hasn't come back yet. So you take Simon's credit card from your wallet. Why you have your best friend's credit card, I'm not sure, but okay.
And didn't he leave it in the burial mound? Did he wedge it? Like
that's what I'm saying.
Rocks?
Like, he took the card, he wedged it between the rocks, he said, alright, I know you're trying to pull some prank, you can buy your own way home. And he takes the car, and he takes this Jaguar, because snobby rich British friend, and Lewis takes snobby rich British friend's car, and drives back to Oxford. And for like 6 months, Simon doesn't come back. At all. So, like, Lewis is starting to freak out, because one, Simon helps pay the rent, so, that's kind of a bummer. All of a sudden, you're in Oxford and these wolves start appearing out of nowhere in alleyways, and I was like, that's not normal. And there's all this kind of, like, Celtic symbols and stuff popping up everywhere, and it's like, everything's getting kind of weird and stuff. And, of course, you're from a cornfield in America, so you're like, I don't know what to do here. And then you meet this really old guy. He's like, hey, come to my place, I'm going to, like, give you mulled wine, I'm going to drop some science on you. And you're like, alright, well, you know what? You look like that old guy from Jurassic Park, so I'm going to trust you, even though I have no idea who you are. That's the way I envision it,
Me too.
Like, so, he's sitting in this overstuffed chair, and he's like, so, like, my snobby rich British roommate disappeared in a burial mound a few months ago. I don't really know what to do about that. And the old guy's like, yeah, this happens all the time. Really? No. Used to. It hasn't for a while. So, let's go get it back now before this world and the world he went to folds in upon each other and eats themselves like a snake eating its tail sort of thing. And the universe implodes.
More Celtic imagery.
That was like Irish, isn't it? Yeah. I think it's Irish. I don't know. I forget.
Which is Celtic.
Which is, yeah, whatever, okay?
Just saying.
So, let's see. And after that, Lewis is like, okay, well, I guess the smart thing to do is go back to the burial mound and try to pull Simon out of there if you're saying that the mound is a portal to another world. And the old guy's like, yeah, let's go, let's do it. Okay. So, that just happened. So we go back to Scotland and everything, and there's this team of archaeologists there, which are the bad guys. Because archaeology. Which is kind of opposite of Indiana Jones, but do what you gotta do to write a story. So, okay. So the old guy's like, hey, archaeologist dudes, I'm gonna distract you while, dorky American farmer kid goes in the burial mound to find his snobby rich British friend. Okay. So Lewis crosses into the other world across this little sword bridge, which doesn't necessarily sound comfortable, but alright. I've never crossed a sword bridge on my bare feet, so I'm not going to judge.
I just want to know, is the sword standing on its edge, or are you walking across
I imagine it like the
flat?
I mean, I would hope it's the flat part.
Because,
I would hope so.
Either that or I'd be hoping for a really dull sword.
Yes.
Anyway,
or
that's
some,
neither here nor
rock
there.
shoes or something.
Maybe
that would be the one time Crocs were acceptable.
I don't know, aren't they made out of, like, foam rubber or something?
Yeah, but they're thick foam rubber.
Yeah. What about, these wooden shoes from Holland?
Clogs.
Yeah.
But, would that be able to balance on the... I don't know.
Probably
I don't
not.
know. I mean,
we digress.
I don't know. I'm not going to judge your shoe-making skills or anything.
I'm not either. Go ahead.
Alright. So, Lewis finds himself in a younger, brighter, and, I don't know, cleaner world, maybe? Like, the first thing he notices is there's no pollution whatsoever. The skies are bluer, and the grass is greener, and everything's just better. Until, 1,000 naked dudes with swords come and try to kill each other. So he's, kneeling in a river, and they've got one army coming down the hill, screaming, covered in blue war paint. And we got another army in the valley, naked with swords, coming to meet these guys coming down the hill. And they're screaming, and there's heads flying, and blood's flying everywhere, and Lewis is just kneeling down this river like, ah! What? No! And who should come help him but Simon? Who, once rich, snobby British kid, is now, big and brawny and, carrying 2 swords and long hair and braids and everything with war paint, and is like, oh.
And a robust mustache.
Oh. That's different. No. No? Okay. So Simon's like, after the battle's over and Simon's team wins, the one that's coming down the hill. So, Lewis is like, so, where did you go? And he's like, I've been here for the past 4 years. And Lewis is like, no, you haven't. You've been gone for 6 months. And he's like, well, apparently I've been here for 4 years. And I'm a warrior. And I'm one of the head honchos of the King's clan. So, yeah. And Lewis is like, no, let's go back home now. And he's like, no, you just got caught up in this battle. We're taking me back to the king, Sonny. And you can feel free to interject here if you want.
All right, I'm just listening.
Listening.
Yeah,
because I gotta catch my breath at some point.
So, what would you do if you found yourself in this place?
And there's like 1,000 naked dudes trying to kill each other and chop their heads off?
Yeah.
I'd probably go hide behind a tree and pinch myself, saying, okay, this is fun, let's go back home now. And we're just gonna pretend this didn't happen.
Didn't happen.
It didn't happen.
Didn't happen.
And then, when my best friend walks up and says, hey, I know I've been missing for 6 months in your world, but I've been here for 4 years, so time just completely smurfed up. And I don't want to go home anymore. I like it here.
And he evidently could grow better facial hair than you?
Okay, that's low even for you. That's low. Meanwhile, I have a luxurious mane. Compared to your, little bald head.
Anyway, back to the story.
So, Simon explains to Lewis that he's been a warrior for the past few years, and he's gained the trust of his king, Mildred Mar, who is Lord of Prydain, which is what we would call England nowadays, in the land of Albion, which is the island of Great Britain, as we would know it.
The Isle of the Mighty.
Yes. Well, it is here that Lewis follows Simon back to King Meldrin's abode, his care, his palace, whatever you want to call it. So the king's like, alright, so we got a new guy. And bear in mind that, they all speak their primitive Gaelic language. I don't think it's actually Gaelic. It's just, I don't know. Is it?
The mother tongue of the Isle of the Mighty.
Sure, let's just go with that. So, Simon is having to translate for Lewis and the king, bantering back and forth, and the king's like, alright, so what do? Do you fight? And Lewis is like, LOL, no. The king's like, alright, well, can you, build houses or, fish or anything? And Lewis is like, well, no, sir, not really.
He's like, I go to college.
He's like, what do you do with your life, kid? I learn. I like to read books and stuff. And the king's sitting there like, are you serious? Are you freaking kidding me? Are you kidding me? Alright, you're going to warrior school. Have fun. And Lewis is like, wait, what? Huh? And Simon's like, yeah, we're gonna send you to Innisky, and you're gonna be a warrior. Huh? That would be my reaction if someone said, alright, we're sending you off to warrior school. Have fun. Come back next year.
But you don't understand. I'm an English major.
What? No. No, I took an acting class and swung a sword for 2 months. I actually did do that. But I don't know the first thing about fighting. Well, we're sending you to school for that.
Hope you don't die.
So, that's how Lewis ends up with Tegid, the king's apprentice bard. And he learns local language and everything. And he forms his bond with his bard, who starts telling him about the history of Albion and how the way things work here and everything. And, just getting accustomed to the culture and trying to get over your culture shock. Which is how Lewis ends up in Innisky under the guidance of Scatha, the warrior, I don't know, resident bad A of Albion, who has 3 really cool daughters.
And she's a girl.
And she's a girl.
And she's
got, there's no amount of testosterone could ever match her. Ever. I kneel before her and kiss her feet she looks at me and I bow down to her. That's how, much power she has. And I'm like, okay, you win. Hi. You're really pretty. And you can kick my butt. Sorry.
Which brings all the feels.
Yeah. So, Lewis meets up with his future best friend, Kenan Mackay, who, if that's not a super Scottish name, I don't know what else is. So, they become bros, And Lewis actually gets in shape, and he learns how to fight fairly well for a newbie, you know. Considering he's like a 25-year-old college student, he's never picked up a sword in his life. He's like, okay, I'm kind of getting that. Oh, crap, that hurt. Okay, let's try again. Nope, that hurt. All right, one more time. All right, here we go. That's it. Okay, I can fight now. Yay, me!
And he grows a luxurious mustache.
Oh, yes. And he wears checkered pants and, like, flannel shirts and stuff. And, yeah. Okay, remind me what happens next. I know he comes back, and... Let's see, is this, like, immediately when he gets back, the bad juju happens?
Yeah, the bad juju happens.
Okay, like, really bad juju.
Yeah, like, he comes back, he's gonna join the war band, and he's, you know, feeling pretty good about himself.
Like, yeah, I can fight, it's cool. And Tegan's like, alright, you can fight, it's cool, come on, bro. And then they get back to Mildred Marr's stronghold, and the place has been burned down. And there are dead bodies everywhere, and it's just, like, not happy.
And you're like, what?
Like, there's this metaphorical black cloud hanging over the place, but it's not metaphorical because the place has been burned down. So, that's a cowbell. I'm sorry, I'm really random.
I'm going to move
Beauregard
out of the way here.
Yeah. Anyway, Mildred and basically everyone left in the care has vanished. They don't know where they are. So, there's a whole bunch of dead bodies that have to be buried, and there's just a whole bunch of mess clean up. So Lewis and Tegan are like, alright, I guess we're gonna I don't know what we're gonna do. I guess we're gonna bury these people and we're gonna find something to eat and try to rummage around to find a lead as to where Mildred and everyone else is. That would be a pretty good plan on our part. In which, so let's see, where am I going with this? So Tegan's like, alright, I think I have an idea of what's going on here. So Lewis is like, alright, I'm listening. In which Tegan tells him the story of the two brothers Lud and Nud, which is, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but I'm like, alright, that's...
Like, Schnood and Schnood.
Sure. Like, did you get tired after the 47th kid? Like, were you trying to grasp at straws for naming somebody? I mean, I'm not judging.
I mean, it's better than Spike.
Fair enough. So it's basically this, like, this allegorical story of two brothers where one's like the savior of mankind and one's like the devil himself. And basically, Satan is walking around on Earth with an army of demons and burn down the palace. That's what Lewis and Tegan are up against here. And there's just like this magical song from the chief bard of all of Albion. That is that song is the only weapon that can like defeat the devil figure here. It's called the Song of Albion because the Song of Albion series, that's where this ties together.
It's like the magic that holds the whole place together.
It's like the life force of the planet in a song.
In a song. That's heavy, bro.
I can't even sing Happy Birthday on key. But
you are not lying.
And yet there's a song that has the life force of the entire planet. I'm done here. So, Tegan's like, wait, I remember. We have a winter home up in the mountains. He didn't say it like that, but, you know, Mildred has, like, a legit winter castle up in the mountains.
Not like a chalet.
Like, he has, like, probably a better castle in the mountains than he does down south. Alright. That's power.
Gotta figure out how to get there.
Oops. I really don't like this thing. So, Tegan's like, alright, we're going to the mountains. And Lewis is like, so, let me get this straight. We're going to find this magical song so we can fight Satan up in the mountains. Yeah. I just got out of warrior school. Yeah. Are you even like a legit bard yet? Not yet. We're getting there.
But I'm working on it.
Okay, so I'm like a level 5 warrior. Like you're like a level 9 paladin. And we're fighting like a level 50 demon monster guy. With a song. Yeah! That's our plan. I like it! So
they don't even have a boombox.
They don't even, like, they don't have a chance. It's cute. They don't have a chance. That's adorable. We're gonna fight Satan with a song that we don't know where to find it. I'm so pumped. So, they finally catch up with Mildred and the throng of people way up in the mountains. And they're not quite at the castle yet. They're almost there, but they're getting there. So like, yay! Alright, I'm at a warrior school, and there's a bunch of demons chasing us, and we're gonna die! Let's not die. So Lewis is like, hey, Simon, buddy, hey, I'm a warrior now. Hey, buddy, hey. And Simon's like, shut up, I don't like you anymore. Okay. Sorry. Didn't know what I did do that, so, okay. So Simon has his own posse of, super tall, rough, around the edges, buff guys, one of which being Paladin, the king's champion. And it turns out they're all jerks and just really horrible people. But, they're what they got to protect them, so, they put up with them. So there's this whole sequence where, they're camping in the snow one night, there are a whole bunch of wolves and everything. And everyone has torches, and they form a straight line. And they basically stare down a pack of wolves for 6 hours, even though they don't really like each other, but they gotta survive somehow. And they just stare down wolves for 6 hours. It's like, great. I kind of actually want to go in the woods one night with a bunch of people and torches just to stare down a wolf just to say I can do that.
It's kind of like that time that you had to stare down an ostrich.
When did that happen?
You were like 3? Never mind.
What?
That's a different story.
Alright.
Anyway.
Back in Ian's repressed memories. Next episode. Okay.
It's like the time that you had to stare down your grandmother's rabid dachshund.
Yeah.
Because she hates people, and for you to make your escape, you had to look into her steely, brown, pudgy-legged eyes. Anyway.
Yeah.
Never mind. Just grasping for
metaphor
that would give some weight and gravitas.
I still think facing down an actual wolf with a torch in my hand would be a lot more manly and stuff. Like, I'm pretty sure chicks might dig that sort of thing. I don't know.
We don't really have wolves around here though,
or torches.
So I mean, we have coyotes.
There's like scraggly,
Yeah, we have lots and lots of white-tailed deer, and we have flashlights. I'm saying improvise.
All right, I mean,
I'm just saying improvise. Do what you gotta do. That's all I'm saying.
I saw a possum last week.
Huh?
I saw a possum last week. Those things are mean.
Bet he didn't see you.
Ha! I get it. I get it.
Took you a minute, didn't it?
That was good.
Yeah, well, anyway. I mean, I do what I can.
Alright. So, after staring at wolves, everyone finally gets to King Meldrin's winter home up in the mountains. It's like carved into the side of a mountain, so it's kind of like Minas Tirith, but, different.
Yeah.
So, everybody's like, yay, we're alive, and there's food here, yay!
The hills are alive.
With the sound of music. Anyway, so everybody's on the balcony overlooking, and they hear the sound of drums and footprints, and they're like, wait a minute. That don't sound good. And lo and behold, Lord Nud, blah, 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 I'm going to call him Bill. Or something. Bill. And all of his demons come and try to tear down the castle. So all the warriors have their bows, and they have their swords and everything. They're just launching volleys down on these demons and everything.
Because bows before... Never mind.
Well, I mean, they're not farmers, so they probably don't have... Yeah, I'm going to stop. So, they're like, yeah, we're killing all these demons, sweet, they're dead, we're winning. And then a bunch of the bigger monsters come and grab their smaller parts, and they take them to a cauldron. And they throw these dead bodies into this big, evil cauldron thing. And it brings the dead back to life. And everyone collectively goes, oh, this is a problem. This is a really, really big problem. So Tegan pulls Lewis aside and says, hey, we got a problem. I got a solution. I know where the chief bard of Albion is, and I know what the Song of Albion is. Let's go. So they go through this secret tunnel in the back of the castle that leads deeper into the mountain, it takes them, what, like 3 days
Yeah.
to go through this tunnel? Because they can't tell where they're going because they're underground in a tunnel. There's no sunlight, there's no moon. They don't know how much time has passed, and this is several thousand years ago, and we don't have wristwatches.
And they didn't have a flashlight.
Nope, they just kind of crawling around. And so they get to this big chamber in the middle of a mountain, and what should they find but the chief bard of Albion, the Penderwood, dead.
Dead.
Covered in rocks, stoned to death. Looks like murder. We don't know. We can't really see a whole lot.
Stoned with stones.
Yes.
Not so stoned
Like
he died.
like you know, like actual stoned.
Like physically
Dead.
assaulted with rocks.
Yes.
Not. Never mind.
So Tegan's like, well, we're screwed. That's it. There's just no other way to say it. We're screwed.
That's a quote, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's in the book. And Lewis is like, so you're telling me that this is the only guy on the face of the planet that knows the song that has the life force of the planet to fight Satan, and he's dead? Yeah. Meaning you don't know how to find the song again. No.
It's probably that same feeling when you're in the car
Yeah.
and a song comes on.
Yeah.
And, like, you know that first verse.
Uh-huh.
And you're just, singing at the top of your lungs. And then that second verse comes along and nobody knows the words to it. And you kind of start mumbling a little bit because you don't want your bros to
know that you like
because you
dig that
committed so hard
Right.
on the first verse. But then
And then when you're like a 35-year-old man, it's a Katy Perry song. That's just even better. Like, I'm not saying I know this from experience.
Shut up! I'm a firework.
Okay, now remind me how this next part happens. Does Tegan grab a rock and like throw it in frustration?
Yeah, and it burst open.
And it burst open, and
it goes la,
and the rock starts singing, and there's a big bright light, and there's just joy and happiness, and everything's okay for a few seconds until that music dies down, and Tegan and Lewis look at each other like, whoa.
Oh, dang.
Did that just happen? And Lewis is like, I have a plan. Get as many rocks as you can. We're digging 3 more days out of this tunnel. Alright. So they get back, and they're like, alright, so all the demon monsters are still attacking the castle, and we've run out of weapons. We're gonna die tonight. Unless anyone has a backup plan. And Lewis and Taylor are like, step aside. We got this.
We got rocks.
We have rocks. Magic rocks.
We're about to get stoned.
And everyone's like, looking at him like, oh my god. This is not real. This is not happening. This is happening. So Lewis is like, alright, everybody take a rock and throw it. You're kidding. No. Do it. So everybody's like, alright. We don't have any other options, so they start throwing magic rocks at all these demons and the devil himself. And they all explode with music that drives back this demon force. And they go bye-bye. It's like, this is a big, climactic song that just destroys everything evil within its range. Like, incinerates it. Like, there are no adjectives to describe what it does to this. Also, I have some...
It's like when they hit that third movement in Bohemian Rhapsody.
It's like... Duh! And the devil himself is sitting there looking at it, it's like, you know what? I'm gonna go home now.
I'm out, y'all.
Like, this was fun. It was real. It was not real fun.
We'll holla.
See y'all next year. And everybody's like, holy crap, you found the Song of Albion. And it was in rocks. And we threw those rocks. And we destroyed hell on earth with rocks. And Tegan and Lewis are like, you are welcome! Judge us one more time. So, the king is really happy about this. So he's like, Lewis, come here. I want to give you something. Because you were like really dorky last year, and now you're like a bad A. I'm going to make you my champion now. Which means that Palantir, who used to be the champion, has to give up the title of King's Champion.
And the torque.
And the torque. Now, this is kind of a big freaking deal. Alright? It's like you are the king's favorite person ever. And you have to give that up to the next guy. That's like embarrassing.
Not just the next guy, a new guy.
A new guy that has...
Scrawny little wimp new guy.
That he came in here last year. You spent all 30 years of your life for this, and he just did it in one. You gotta give that to that guy. That's like someone giving you the middle finger and then spitting on you and kicking you in the face. And then asking you to be happy about it. That's what Palantir felt. So he's like literally on his knees crying before the king. Hugging the king. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. You know, I'm sorry. He's so much cooler than me. Here's a knife in your gut. Stab. Palantir kills the king. And people are not happy about that. So, Palantir is on the run from the warband. And everybody's like really mad. And Tegid's really sad. And they don't know how to deal with this. So, a few days later, they're out getting the funeral procession for the king. Back to Bredane. Back to where...
The Summerlands.
The Summerlands. Back to where every king of Albion has ever been buried. Because that's what you do when you're a king. You have your own burial mound with all your forefathers and everything. So, it has been revealed to Lewis that Simon was Palantir's, like, best friend ever. He was also very good friends with Meldrin's son, Meldrin, spelled with an O rather than a Y at the end, because I guess that's the way of saying Meldrin Jr., just changing a vowel, I guess. So I'm gonna call him like Lil Mel or something. I don't know. I don't know how to avoid confusion here. So
Lil Mel.
Lil Mel. Now,
and he also had a gold chain around his neck.
Yes.
Lil Mel.
Lil Mel.
Anyway.
All right. So bear in mind that when a king dies, it is the bard's responsibility to choose a successor. It does not go to the firstborn child like it is today. Well, since the Penderwood is dead now, Tegid is like, hey, I just got promoted, meaning I have to choose the next king. Lil Mel, I do not choose you. I don't think you're the right guy.
Oh, snap.
Well, for the past 4 years, Simon has been working his influence in Lil Mel's ear, saying, you know, where I come from, the king's son becomes king. And he gets the glory, and he gets to rule and everything. And Lil Mel has just been sitting here for the past 4 years like, I like this a lot.
He's sowing the seeds of discord.
Yes. So Tegid's like, I'm sorry, Lil Mel. I'm not sure who I want yet, but I'm sorry, it's not going to be you. So Lil Mel is like really offended by this. Meanwhile, Lewis is like, look, Simon, it's been great. We killed Satan. It was great. You have to come home now. If you stay here, this big wibbly wobbly time space continuum thing is gonna mess up our world and this one. They're gonna eat each other, and no one's gonna live through this if you don't come home. And yeah, Simon's like, no, I like it here. And Lewis is like, well, I like it here too, but we have to go home. So, meanwhile, they're going around this big burial mound, and Lewis is tricking Simon into walking around it a few times so that the magic door opens. And so they start arguing back and forth, and once the door opens after the third circuit, Lewis pushes Simon into the hole, and Simon goes back to the other world, or so he thinks. Lewis follows him, and he lands dressed in full Celtic garb outside with the old guy from Jurassic Park. His name is Professor Nettleton, but I call him the old guy from Jurassic Park.
Or Nettles.
Nettles. And he's like, okay, alright, I'm home, we're done, we're good. Where's Simon? And Nettles is like, you're the only person that came out. He's like, so you haven't seen Simon at all? Because he went in the hole like 2.5 seconds before I did. No, you're the only person here. Alright, crap. Okay. I'm going back. I'll see you next time. In Book 1. And that's like the abridged version and the paraphrased version because, yeah, but Anyway, I would encourage you to read this for yourself because there's a lot that I didn't go into detail about because I'm really bad at this because it's my first time like narrating a book from the beginning. But it's kind of a big freaking deal for me because it's like I love that book and I want you guys to love that book like I love that book. So I'm trying to sell this to you.
And there's so many layers to that book. I have read that whole series no less than 10 times, and every time I read it, I discover something new.
Oh yeah, there's so many Easter eggs.
Stephen Lawhead, the author, went to such
It's cowbell, yeah.
Painstaking detail to include all, or not all, but a good many Celtic legends and things that have been passed on in literature and oral traditions. And he takes all of these stories and weaves them into this narrative and takes this character, this protagonist from our world, and puts him in the middle of all of these different legendary happenings. And in book 2, it takes this big twist from, the setup is at the end of book 1, where in book 1 the big bad guy is this, this ancient evil, and that's supplanted in book 2 and comes to a culmination in book 3 with the evil of human greed.
I mean, don't tell them all.
I'm not, but I'm
there.
just saying that's well, you see the setup is at the end of book 1,
Right.
That
like the big bad guy is not the big bad guy,
right? You've got this. You think that the worst thing you could ever encounter is a demonic force,
but sometimes it's the person that was once the closest to you.
Exactly.
Like
boom,
keep your friends close and your enemies closer, sort of thing.
That's right.
Wow,
that's right. We'll talk more about that next week.
Oh yeah. I skipped a major plot point in this discussion. I just remembered. But I would just advise you to read the book for yourself. That way I don't have to backtrack and confuse you further. Involves a big demon that basically involves you shouting God's name at it to fight it. That's basically how you fight this thing. You just shout God's name at it 100 times. That's how you fight this demon. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to let you read the book now.
So I think we need to leave this episode with a reading assignment.
Okay. For me or for them?
For them, for the audience.
Okay.
We need to give them something to spark some discussion when we finish the Song of Albion discussion. Right. So, do you have a book recommendation?
This is tough. All right. Any book.
Any book.
Any book. We've talked about it. We haven't talked about it. You could have given me some warning before we started this.
I could have, but it just came to me. You're about to start reading book 5 of Dresden, aren't you? Death Masks.
I already started this afternoon.
I think we need to have a group discussion
of Death Masks.
Death Masks.
But what if everyone else hasn't read the first 4 yet?
Go to Wikipedia and catch up.
It's cheating, but okay.
Anyway, that's it for this week.
Yep.
Thank y'all for listening.
Thank you. Thanks for listening. We ramble and stuff. And
And come back next week
so
to hear about part 2 and to hear our commentary on.
As I wait for it, ramble on. I'm sorry, I had to.
Bye, y'all.
Peace out.